This is February 13th, 2000. This is Leanna. I thought I'd take her while she's in a good mood. Are you a good baby? Huh? Oh.
I would give anything to have my dad here with me today. I was 10 years old when my sister decided to take him off life support. His addictions to drugs and alcohol over the years had ruined his liver. It's been a little over 8 years now since he passed away, and I'm on a journey to figure out what killed my dad.
We're told 2 people in their 20s overdosed here at Baxter Arena last night.
Whitney Houston's death has us talking about her fight with addiction.
Prescription drug abuse is so serious that President Obama has just launched an initiative to fight it.
The number of heroin users has nearly doubled in just the past 3 years. Even more surprising may be the face of the new addicts. Tonight, you're going to meet kids from
When we got old enough, we were just running the streets on our own. Friday nights was our night. Go do whatever we wanted to do. Mom would come home from work, give us money to go get dinner at the hot dog place down the street. Once we got old enough, we used to spend a week of curiosity. Not the best of us.
What would you say addiction is?
It's powerful. It's destructive. It's heartbreaking. Oh yeah, I just say it's the devil.
Addiction is where you no longer have a choice. You don't have a choice between your kids or drugs. What was your drug of choice? Since I was 16 until I was 18, it was mainly just the Percocet, the pain pill. That started to get too expensive, so I started to turn to heroin.
Addiction or chemical dependency is caused by some kind of malfunction in the neurotransmitter system of an individual. Many addicts end up doing all the things they said they were never going to do. There isn't an addict that hasn't started out with some kind of spiritual or moral code or some kind of set of values, but addiction, by overriding all of that, it eventually just chisels that away.
I didn't think it affected, but it did. Because if you listen to Jessica and Kayleen, they'll tell you how it affected them. They would know more than I would how it affected them because I didn't see it, because I was in the middle of it. And I thought, being the parent, it's do as I say, not as I do. I didn't see it affecting the kids at all.
I met with appellate court judge Brian Hagedorn to gain insight on his work with drug cases, namely, the offenders that create them.
There's a lot of tough questions here, and I think they're the right questions to be asking. Should we be incarcerating people? But there is also the question of what ought we to do? My cases all come from about 12 counties, and so I will myself handle probably 200 cases a year. I guess if I'm estimating, maybe it's 20 or 25% of my total caseload is drug-related cases or charges.
When it becomes beyond recreational, the choices get taken away. Because then you start doing things that you think that you will never do. You're not driven by your self-will anymore, you're driven by that drug.
First of all, I can say I come from a good home, but I was always allowed to do what I wanted to do. I ended up hanging with the wrong crowd. That's what made me become to know the things that I shouldn't have not known. It made me indulge in drugs and it stopped going to school. Over the years, it just got more and more and more out of control.
In the past 8 months, I've sat down and talked with local community leaders, drug counselors, judges, law enforcement, and drug addicts. And as I listened to them tell their stories and explain their struggle with addiction, in me grew a deeper respect and understanding for my father's own struggle with this disease.
I haven't seen any commonality in regards to what drugs are used or who uses them. Addiction is the kind of thing that goes across every race, religion, social class, economic class, etc.
So once somebody's in prison for 5 or 10 years, how do we equip them to come back into society? People who have a felony on their record, oftentimes it makes it hard for them to find jobs. What does it look like for us to integrate people back into society and get people back on their feet once they've done something wrong? Or has it become a sort of a scarlet letter?
Anybody can get any of these diseases that are out there. If you look at the success rates for treatment for asthma, diabetes, heart disease, and addiction is actually more successful. Well over 60% of addicts get sober and stay sober eventually.
My dad had a big heart and a great sense of humor. A lot of people loved him for that. But he hid a deep secret for many years, and no one ever asked him about it, and he never brought it up. We should feel free to talk about addiction like we do any other disease or cause. And until that day comes, I will continue to do just that. If you know someone who struggles with addiction, or you are someone who does, talk about it before it's too late.
But yeah, it's a blessing now to have almost 7 months clean.